Hello everyone. Welcome to Shet Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. This is HSC online audio video lesson. This is part 2 of fourth chapter, that is cognitive process, by Ms. Deepa Podar. So today we are going to study the fourth topic of this chapter, that is 4.4, and the topic is thinking. So, I will just give you some definition of thinking, that is, thinking is the mental activity that uses various cognitive element and processes that involves manipulation of information, problem solving, reasoning, as well as decision making. While thinking, we create a world within us and we run through various actions symbolically rather than in reality. So, here I would like you all to do one very small experiment with me. So, just close your eyes for a minute and imagine a peacock in front of you. So, when you are imagining it, it is not physically present in front of you. So, you are just imagining it, right? With your visual image of a peacock comes in your mind with all the vivid, colorful plumps, shapes, size. This is how we think. Okay, so here we have few core elements of thinking. There are four core elements, so let us start with that. First one is mental representation. So the example that I just used comes from here. Mental representation is the mental imaginary of a thing that is not currently physically available to the senses. So mental representation is coded internal sensation. Okay, so for example, close your eyes and imagine a peacock. So when you are able to imagine a peacock, it means you know the shape and the color of that, and your brain is recalling those figures, shape, size, and everything, putting it all together and giving you a picture of it. Okay, that is mental representation. Now, second one, okay, just look at this example. We can't put a table in our head, but we can put a mental representation of a table in our mind instead, right? So, can you see when we say chair, the picture of chair will come into your mind. So, this is how mental representation works and looks like. Next is concept. Concept is an internal representation which the brain uses to denote certain classes of things in the world. The concept involves extraction of some idea on the basis of similarities and differences among many sensations. So here in your textbook there is a example of a child or how child's mind and brain works. For example, a child forms a mental representation of a cow. Thereafter he will say that the idea comes, that is, it is a four-legged animal with head, body, tail and horns, etc. He is thus forming a concept of a cow, right? So basically concept means a cognitive process, right? So various concepts like building blocks by connecting with each other to form more complex concepts like schemas. Okay, so when I will tell you that imagine a picture of a cow. So what you'll imagine, a horizontal body with four legs, tail, head and horns, right? So it will also give you some pictures like horse, which is very similar. It will give you a picture of buffalo. So when you're focusing on one thing, lots of things comes in your mind also. So when you are focusing on a concept, schemas comes into your mind also, right? So I explained you the concept. Now let's go to schemas. So this is a picture of a concept. When you're looking at a cat and you go back to your brain and memory and you will realize that how does it looks like, then your brain will give you an answer that it looks like a cat, right? So now we'll go to schemas. A schema is an internal representation that organizes knowledge about related concepts and relationship among them. The schemas influence most of the cognitive processes. So here let's read the example given in the textbook. When a child visits a zoo, the concept of animal, home, cage, display, public, etc., gets activated simultaneously and a connection is established between them. This leads to formation of schema of a zoo. So as all of us visited zoo some time, right, once upon a time. So when I will tell you or when I will ask you to, recollect some memory of the zoo, so what you will recollect, you'll try to recollect like all the schemas will come out. There was lots of people, there was children who were having fun there was animal who were inside the cage, and it was kind of animal home. Different types of animals were there, even the wild animals were inside the cage. So these are the schemas when you are trying to recall one thing and 10 things are coming into your head. That is schemas. Okay, I'll show you one example of that. See, if I'm telling you, let's for example, your family is planning a trip. Okay, a long time trip, for example, for a week or 10 days. So what are the things that will come in your mind? Right. So for example, you need to take a ticket, you need to get a book a car, and everything. You need to do some shopping, you need to pack your bag, you need to get a phone, you get a what we say that chargers and everything. So basically the schema is a cluster of interrelated concepts that tell us about how things are functioning in the world. Now see, schemas, positive point of a schema is it means that organizing knowledge stored in the memory, right? So when I'm asking you one thing, your brain has organized those information logically so that it is coming into your head. So when I'm asking you about your college friends, so all most of the college friends faces you will try to recollect, but not the friends from your family friends or cousins will not come into your head, because this is how your brain has organized that information. So schemas helps your brain to organize the information. Okay, now we'll go to language. So basically, language is a system of symbols, right? Mental representation. Just now I showed you a picture of an old man with a cat. So what did he saw? He saw that there is an animal with four legs, tail, and face and everything. So he went back to his head and he got that it is a cat. So cat is a name, or maybe we can say that he denoted as a word name cat, so that you can say that this is a cat. So when you are thinking about something, language is very important to express it. So thinking by using language is distinctive feature of human beings thinking process. So it is very important to have a language in the thinking process to denote everything, to code everything. Okay. So now we'll go to types of thinking. There are two types of thinking. One is problem solving and second is creative thinking. Okay. Now these also has sub points in that. Problem solving has 4 points, that is defining the problem, generating alternative solution, selecting a solution, implementing and follow up on the situation. I'll try to explain you this a little more. Okay. So problem solving basically means that when you are thinking on some problem that you need to solve. Okay, so first you have to select one problem. Okay, everybody has lots of problem going on, but you cannot work on all of them together. So you need to work accordingly on it one by one. So first thing is that you need to define the problem. What is the problem exactly? Okay, so for example, when a baby is crying due to stomach ache and he or she, her mother, wrongly interprets that it is as due hunger, and the problem remains unresolved, right? So when you will not define the problem properly, the problem will not be solved. Okay, so if you are saying, leave the example of baby, we can say that if you are itself saying that your head is paining and you will say it is just because I had a long day or tiring day, but maybe you are thinking about something which is giving you stress, right? So if you will not define the problem properly, the problem will not be resolved. So the first thing important here is you need to define the problem. What is happening and why it is happening. Okay. Now second point is generating alternative solution. So what are the solution here we can have? So you need to work on the problem. So if we go textually, in this second step of the problem solving, a person try to search for all those possible action that can solve a problem. For example, if a person is suffering from severe headache, they may start thinking of taking a rest, listening to a music, meditating, taking medicine, etc. Okay, so if a person is having a headache, it can be a reason physically or psychologically. Maybe he had a long, tiring day, or maybe he is having some kind of stress. So, what he can do? If it is a physical pain, so he need to take a rest or take some medicine. And if it is a psychological headache, like psychosomatic symptoms, then he need to do some meditation and do something that will give him peace and happiness, right? That will give him a change of mood so that the headache can go, right? So this is how you need to generate some options, some solution to get out of that problem, right? So now we need to select a solution. In the third step of the problem solving, whatever solution that you listed, for example, for headache I wrote 4 solution: take a medicine, take a rest, listen to a music, or do meditation. So you need to select any one from this and work upon it, right? But the solution should be realistic, right? It should not be vague, like you just wrote it and you're not able to come out from the problem with that solution. Okay, so if a person recalls that meditation helped, then he or she going to repeat it again, right? And if he or she will select the same solution for the problem in the current situation, so whenever the headache reoccurs, then they can do the meditation. So you need to select one solution that you listed and do work upon it. Now fourth one is implementing and follow up on the solution. So a person actually tries out a certain solution and evaluate the outcome on the basis of whether it helped or not. If the problem is still unresolved, the person might have to go to one of the previous step and carry out the problem solving procedure again. Okay. So here what do? We need to check upon it how it is working or it is not working. If it is not working, then you need to go back again to the point B, that is generating alternative solution. So whatever solution that you wrote, you need to choose another one because the one you chose is not working, right? So implementing and following up means whether it is working or not. How are you feeling after using that solution? Okay. So this is how problem solving works in first type of thinking. Let's go to the second type of thinking, that is creative thinking. One is preparation, incubation, illumination, and verification. So here again, preparation means when you are preparing to, to do something new. Incubation means when you are doing some research how to do that, how many people did that in past, and doing some research and preparing yourself also by keeping yourself healthy, by keeping yourself a very hygiene with that things, right? Now illumination is like sudden moment when you realize that you got an idea how to do that and you are just about to work on it. Okay. And the last one is verification. You need to recheck it how you are going to do that. You need to write a whole process how are you going to do that and just start doing it, right? Now I'll give you one example from the textbook for all four uh, uh, points. Okay. So first is that I displayed it, preparation. So for example, if a poet wants to write or sing for a particular movie, he may start preparing by himself by doing brainstorming, reading, gathering own past experiences, or anything that help him to move forward, finding a new solution, right? So he need to write something about for a movie. So what he'll do some brainstorming, he'll do some reading, and also he will get all the information that he wrote in the past. Okay, all the poems, the rhyming schemes that he wrote, he will get it out. Now in incubation means a poet may start writing some lines. When you actually start doing it, but may feel that lines written are inappropriate. So you are just doubting on yourself, is it right or not? So it will take some time, and during this time incubation will take place. He may follow his routine like going to a gym. So you need to take a break from that, right? Going to a gym, eating, watching movie, talking to friends, etc. And the third one is illumination. Illumination means a poet will suddenly find the exact line that he will search for week together. This will be the aha moment for him. Okay, so sometimes it happens with all of us that we are looking forward for something and we are not able to do it, and then we just stop doing that, just leave it and take some time, take a break, take 1 day or 2 day, and suddenly some idea drops into your mind. That is illumination. That is called aha moment. Okay, that suddenly an idea dropped into your head and your problem is solved. So last one, here we go, is for verification. For example, a poet will write his new poem on a paper, will read it again and again, and will check whether any word or line still to be changed. So this is the verification. Like everything is done, now we can go ahead with the poem or a song. Okay. So this is how the whole thing of thinking is. And do ask me if you have any question or you need some more explanation. Thank you. Will come with 4.5, that is learning. So my part 3 video will be coming soon. Thank you.